You didn't even wash your hands. Hey, I'm Austin.
And I'm Ryan.
And this is the Spring Chat,
where we talk all things Disney.
Resorts,
Shopping. Food. You can catch us at 8:30 on Thursday nights on
Facebook, YouTube,
Twitch, and now Spotify on Amplified Network.
Thanks for joining us here at the Amplified Network. Your show will begin in just a few minutes, but first I want to go on ahead and shout out to our awesome sponsors. First, we have the Mouse Merch Box. It is an official Disney subscription box. It is $60 quarterly if you subscribe, or $70 per box. It's going to come with $120 to $150 worth of exclusive Disney apparel and merchandise, so definitely check that out. If you do decide that you want to check them out, we do have a coupon code for you. Coupon code is going to be Springs20 for 20% off of your order. Next, we have the Great Adventure Supply Company. Great Adventure Supply Company is really cool. They have a bunch of 80s and 90s themed pop culture themed Disney and theme park apparel. So if you're like me, you miss the 90s, you love that style. They recently released some new exciting additions to their store. Be sure to check them out. And we also have a coupon code for the Great Adventure Supply Company that's going to be Magic15 for 15% off of your order. So thank you so much for joining us. We greatly appreciate you and our sponsors. So stay tuned here on the Amplified Network. Your show will be coming up soon.
What's up? How are we doing? Welcome to the Two Top Podcast. My name is Amp. I hope you guys are doing awesome today. I'm going to get rid of this mic stand because I really hate mic stands. But welcome. My name's Amp. I am the founder of Amplified Network, but also I am the co-host of this show, the Two Top Podcast. Today, my partner in crime, Nick, he is on vacation, and he will be on vacation literally through the next week, so he actually won't be back next week, which brings me to this next point. Nick and I have been talking. The Two Top Podcast has been going on for a while now, and Nick feels like there's some things that we can change, improve, make better. Ultimately, we want to, grow a fan base and make the show better as a whole. And with that being said, Nick wants to put the Two Top Podcast kind of on the brakes for now. So we're going to shelf it and improve on it. So it's not going to be one of those things that we just lock away and never see again. You will see the Two Top Podcasts again. But just for right now, we're going to put the brakes on it, and it's not going to be a part of the lineup probably for the next couple weeks, maybe for the next 3 or 4 weeks, to be honest. But don't be, don't freak out or anything. We still have tons of shows. Amplified Network is loaded with shows. Tonight at 8:30, we have the Springs Chat. Those guys, they talk about all the Disney stuff. And then on Mondays, we have the Dungeon Seekers. Tuesdays, we have the Theater Goers, and our brand new show, which was a huge hit this past Tuesday, 60 Minute Suspension. 60 Minute Suspension is basically two guys, myself and Tyler Williams, who's based out of New York City, and we just talk about the sports drama that you guys love to talk about. We get to do it with cameras and mics, so pretty awesome. At the end of the day, Wednesday we have the Anime Club, and then Anime Club is doing great. They had really good views yesterday, and because of you guys who are watching, with your shares, with your likes, with just the love and support that you guys give Amplified Network, that's been growing really rapidly, which is awesome. We have a lot of cool stuff coming. We have 2 new shows that are going to be coming out soon. And, there's just a lot of stuff you don't want to miss out on. So if you're watching right now, please share this video. Please share this video. Please follow us. Please like us. We are on YouTube. We are on Facebook. We are on Twitch. If you don't know what Twitch is, go to the App Store, search Twitch, download it, and then just search Amplified Network and like us, because that's how cool we are. Because on Twitch, I actually do live video games. So, I'll play video games live, and you guys get to watch me do terrible. Like, the last session that I did, I played PUBG, and I died over 100 times. It was so bad. And then I played with my little brother a little bit, and it was even worse. So Amplified Network's trying to, reach out in different branches and grow that way. But let's go back to the Two Top Podcast. I know I just threw a lot of information out at you, and thank you guys for hanging in there with me. But this is a show, and this is kind of like the last show for a little while. So I thought I'd put a lot of effort into this one, kind of put my heart and soul into this one. And so you're going to see a lot of emotions come out of me today, I think. Hopefully, we'll see how it goes. But I just have a lot of feelings towards the industry, the restaurant industry. The Two Top Podcast is based off a server and a bartender. I am a bartender now, but I just put my 2 weeks in, so I'm not going to be bartending much longer, which is awesome. But it raised a question in me, and I wanted to bring it to y'all's attention, and I have the chat line open. So if you guys are watching, please chime in with your chats. Talk to me. Let me know how you feel about this topic that I'm going to bring up, and we'll debate it out. Okay. My topic today is health care and health benefits, and benefits for that matter for anyone working in the restaurant industry. If you're a server now or have ever been, you know what I'm talking about. We don't get health benefits. We don't get any type of benefit whatsoever. There's no benefit package. There's no benefit anything. And it's really funny because last night I had to fill out my new benefits package for the new job that I just got. Health, dental, vision, all the works, all that stuff. I had to fill that out, and I realized it kind of opened my mind. I've never filled anything like that out before. I'm 30. And I've worked in the industry, the restaurant industry, my whole life. There was only one job in the restaurant industry that actually offered us any type of benefits, and I don't know how to describe it to you. Like when you go into a job and you have no support behind you, it's kind of scary. And Mike, I see your post. You said, "I'm right there with you, Amp. I have a lot of feelings about the service industry as well." Yeah, Mike, please stay with me on this and tell me how you feel about it, man. Speaking about the benefits themselves, okay, I'm gonna throw some truth, okay. In reality, state and federal law, they're not requiring any company to pay anyone benefits. Okay, benefits is exactly that word. So when you apply for a job or you go for a job and you hear about, all the benefits, all the things that they give you, that's what people strive for. Like that's the reason I'm going to my next job is because of the benefits. And with restaurant industry, we don't have that luxury. We never give that luxury. I mean, very small cases, like in the big restaurants and like the larger brand restaurants, you might see these benefits, maybe. But in reality, all the small businesses and a lot of the even Carrabba's, I can tell you for a fact, don't offer benefits to servers and bartenders. I can guarantee you that. With all that being said, there's just a lot of statistics out there that I think will open some people's eyes towards this topic. There was a survey conducted by the Restaurants Opportunity Center United. That's the whole name. Close to 89% of restaurant workers did not receive any type of health insurance or benefits whatsoever. That's 89% of restaurants. Okay, just think about how many restaurants are in your city, wherever you are, or just around your block, literally around the corner. I guarantee you none of them offer any type of benefit package whatsoever. Now, to take that in the concept of going further with this, a lot of reasons benefits are not offered is because of high turnover rate of employees. Okay, now that's one way of looking at it. Servers don't last long in the industry, or they don't stay at one place for too long. And case in point, because there's nothing to stay for. You come in to do a job that you get paid, $2.50 to $6 an hour. And if I go in and I have one, maybe two tables, and if we base it off, an average $50 or $60, tab or whatever, I'm only going to walk out of there with an extra $10 in my pocket, realistically. So, at the end of the day, if I have to sit there for 4 or 5 hours straight and I don't get any benefits for that, that's really rough on me, because I'm wasting 5 hours of my life to go do a job that I get no benefit from after the fact. That's tough. I just told you about the high turnover rate. Most insurances take a grace period of up to 90 days. If the employee doesn't last the whole 90 days, that would be a loss to the business. So realistically, businesses have to pay for this insurance. Obviously, that's the whole point of them. Like the point of getting more people to work for them. So they have to put out the money up front to hopefully hope that employee doesn't leave. So during those, 30, 60, 90-day periods, the employee actually doesn't have those benefits. They're just waiting for it to happen or kick in. But for restaurants, the turnover rate is so high, they don't risk that. They don't risk that opportunity of, this server, they did their 2-week training and now they're gone. They hated it, and they deal with that. So don't get me wrong. They have a really strong point there. And small businesses in general have a strong point for that. We don't want to put out that type of money because those people are just going to leave. But on the reverse of knowing that fear is there, I guarantee you if you do offer benefits or if you do give people an opportunity for benefits, that turnover rate might actually go down because no matter how bad the job is, they're hired, they have a job. But if you give them that extra incentive to stay, I guarantee you're going to see that turnover rate go down. So there's a number of situations there that is going to change, but someone has to take that step, If we go on, I just told you about this. Most restaurants, they only invest about $2.50 to $6 an hour per server or bartender. This basically keeps their costs for employees really low. So that means they can spend that money on food or, upgrading the restaurant. They just have a lot more money. If you just envision, like the job that I just applied for, I'm going to make in the 2-figure range hourly. That's different than what I'm used to, which is a single-digit hourly, right? Now, a lot of people will say, well, you get tips, and, your tips, make up for that transition. Well, if you average out how much the tips actually make, I mean, I'm close to maybe $10 an hour, maybe 11 if it's a good week. So that tip average doesn't influence that much. So yes, if you open a restaurant, you're saving money on that side for your employees or you're saving that money for the business because you're not paying as much for your employees. But also keep in mind that turnover rate's going to stay high because there's no benefits. Why do I want to stay for $2.50 an hour? You know what I mean? I see Mike jumping in again. Mike said Topgolf offered benefits, but only to full-time employees, and maybe it next to impossible to make it full-time because they stay overstaffed. Yeah, exactly, Mike. That's another good point. There are companies that do offer benefits to people who work full-time, and Topgolf is actually a really big company, and I'm not shooting them down or anything like that. But like you said, they overstaff, and they do that because it keeps the costs low. They know that paying for those benefit packages are actually costing more money than actually, bringing in full-time people. It's really tough. Mike, you're still chiming in. Thank you, buddy. That's terrible if servers and bartenders do more than 90% of everyone in the restaurant, but yet only get paid $3 an hour. It's ridiculous because the restaurant gets so much cheap labor. And that's my point. Exactly, Mike. There's so much cheap labor involved in the situation. And I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be very honest. The job that I do now, I wash dishes. I take tables, I make the drinks, I clean the bathrooms, and I sweep all the floors, I mop everything. Sometimes I actually have to make my own food. I literally just said like 5 jobs in one, and I make $5.25 an hour. I just want to give you that concept. So in that hour that I'm doing all that work, you have to envision that I have to do all that plus take another table or two to hopefully make, $5 tip on that to cover the $5.25 that I'm working. There's something not right here, and it's something that's not adding up, and the benefit side of that would maybe make me want to stay longer, but there is no benefit incentive. Let me continue because I got a lot of stuff I want to share with you guys. Restaurants who are dedicated to its employees have begun to work with the National Restaurant Association and supporting legislation and to lower the cost of health care for its premiums. Basically, the idea is that this association, National Restaurant Association, is trying to work against legislation. Sorry, words. Thank you. Words to encourage people or to encourage companies to lower the premium on their insurance. Essentially what it is the insurance companies are inflating everything. Everyone wants health insurance because we need it. I mean, we're humans. We're not robots. We're not, perfect God beings. People get sick. People get hurt, and we need health care. Like, we need benefits. And if restaurants can't find a way to encourage insurance companies to lower these premiums, lower these outrageous costs, nothing's ever going to change, and thank goodness the National Restaurant Association and stuff like this fight against this. They fight against these unwrong doings. We don't want to blame the restaurant all the time, but also simultaneously, they're kind of the ones putting the nail in our own foot because, they know that we need the job. They know that we need the money, but they know that they don't have to charge us as much because if we leave, we're very replaceable. So there's a lot of issues that would go on here. Here's another statistic for you. 70% of the grand total of restaurants in the country are small business. So if you take the whole number of all restaurants in the United States, 70% of them are actually small business owned, which means they don't make a lot of money. That's what that means. And then the industry, the restaurant industry is the largest private sector of employees in America. Now, the next number I'm about to give you may actually shock you. I had to do some digging, and I really wanted to make sure that I had my research right on this. Okay, so as of May 2018, and this is the stats from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I got this number from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. 2,582,410 people are servers. That's 2,582,410 people that are servers. They're servers or bartenders or like people that work off tips, basically. You have to grasp that number real quick. That's huge. That's absolutely massive. The Bureau is estimating by 2026 that almost 3 million to almost over 3 million Americans are going to be in this industry. That's incredible. So to clarify, we don't get health insurance. So if you multiply me by however much it needs to make that 2 million number, that's how many people really don't have health insurance. Now, again, there are some small scenarios where restaurants, like Mike was saying, if they're a little bit bigger, they offer these benefits, but then you have to work really hard to get those benefits. You have to work really, really hard. And I know for a fact Mike has kids, so I know Mike can't work full time. He has to team up with his wife to make that happen. And then when I say full-time, like we're not talking just 40 hours a week. When restaurants ask for full-time, you're looking close to 50 to 60 hours a week for that full-time. So I guarantee you it's not an easy 40 hours. At the end of the day, this is a very large number of people who don't have health insurance. Now, to add more math to this already large number, okay? From the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the mean annual wage for every server in America was $25,000. Okay, it was $25,830, but it was $25,000 for the year. That's the mean. That's the average total of all the servers. Now, some of those were higher, and a lot of those were a lot lower. But I mean, I guess since it's the mean, it was kind of in the middle. But whatever. Right around. That basically adds up to $1,000 every 2 weeks, okay? If you add in car payments, rent, utilities, food, living, there's a very small window to add health insurance in that. Okay, if you really want to, and I know a lot of people can relate, and I'm not trying to break into people's, what you make on average or anything like that. Please don't tell me. But I'm just giving you an idea that $1,000 every 2 weeks is really rough to live off without benefits. That's without benefits. Now, maybe you can live off that with benefits because those benefits are a part of that. So you're actually making a little bit more than that, but because of the benefits, you pay for those benefits. But for restaurant servers, we don't have that luxury. So we have to pay we usually have to pay the full premium for whatever insurance is offered. There is no help. There is no small window. And then if you have kids, if you are married, I mean, it's a whole nother ball game. At the end of the day, these bring me a lot of questions, okay? I have a lot of questions that don't necessarily have answers, but they're just things that I want to share with you people because I know that everyone here goes to restaurants. I know everyone here has been served by a server or a bartender at some point in your life. I mean, it's just life. Like, restaurants are everywhere, and they're a part of us, and they're part of our lifestyle, realistically. Almost every single person that I know has been a server at some point in their life. You've been a server for something, a coffee shop, a bakery, anything, restaurants, small businesses, whatever. You had to work for a tip, or you had to work to make that extra money because you knew that your hourly wage wouldn't cover everything. And so these are some of the questions that, arises. And this was a big one that right off the bat, I had to ask myself, do servers and bartenders deserve benefits? I know a lot of people who work full-time would question this concept of, well, you don't work full-time. I work full-time, but you don't work full-time. So why do you get the opportunity to make benefits while I don't, Or, I get that luxury, but why should you? Because you don't work as many hours as I do, And there should be, obviously, a thing that balances that equation, I'm not asking for full benefits for a part-time employee. That's not what I'm asking. But I am asking for some type of help. And I'm going to share a story with you later to explain more of what I'm trying to get to. But yeah, one of my questions was, do bartenders and servers deserve benefits? They serve your food. That's kind of what they do. But there's also more to it. And their work environment, that they actually, the restaurants themselves, they have to constantly go into the freezer and then go out into the cooking area. So you're leaving a freezing environment, and then immediately your body has to transition to a very warm environment. That can really mess up a lot of people. And I'm not trying to nick and pick, and that's what this list is going to sound like, but I want to give you guys clarity on what an actual server goes through. The floors that they walk on are incredibly slippery. If you've ever gone ice skating, it's a little less than that. And I mean little. I'm not saying it's a lot like it, but it's a little less than ice skating. It's very slippery in the back of the house. If there's not rubber mats down, or if someone's not making sure that the wet spots are clean, which almost never when you're really busy, the floor is incredibly hard to walk on. So, and all that floor is concrete. It's hard floor. So one slip and head to the floor, lights out, man. And I don't have any health benefits, so I can't, if I get knocked out at work, I'm kind of out of luck on that situation. Also, they must remain on their feet close to over 4 hours. Mike, I don't know how long you work at Topgolf, or like how long your shifts are. I know for me, I typically have to work 4 to 5 hours on my feet straight. That means no sitting down, no breaks. No, I don't smoke cigarettes, but for people who smoke cigarettes, it's no cigarette breaks, no lunch breaks, no food breaks in between. That's a straight 4 to 5 hours of on your feet labor, and you're constantly moving. And to add on to that, constantly moving around, you walk close to, and I keep my my step counter on constantly, and so I get close to 2 to 5 miles a day in one shift. And this adds up to carrying close to 80 pounds consistently. I'm not talking about just like one carry. I mean, consistently, I'm carrying up to 80 pounds on average. That's a lot that you're putting on your back. And like I said, you never get burns. And then another big thing that I think a lot of people kind of overlook, burns. There's a lot of burns, on your hands, your fingers, your arms, constantly getting burned. That sucks. All this brings me back to why benefits are so important for servers and bartenders. And again, I know a lot of people may not agree with me. A lot of you might be like, well, it's just a starter job. Like, you're not planning on doing this your whole life. But realistically, a lot of people, by the numbers, do this. Over 2 million people are doing this, and that's not all students. That's not all high school kids. Those are single moms. Those are single dads, grandparents, ex-cons. I mean, ex-cons can barely ever find a job, but I guarantee you a small business restaurant will hire them. There's just so many different types of people out there from different backgrounds that have to be in this industry because no one else will give them a chance. And that is more of my point, why benefits are so important, to even open up the possibility that, we need to give these people some type of health. At the end of the day, where you work is your choice. I totally understand that, and I totally get it. Anyone who argues against benefits, I understand your side. And, I'm about to join, the opposite side of being a server now, so I'm not going to be able to defend being a server and getting benefits like I can right at this moment. But I do believe that these people work very hard. They work very hard to make your experiences memorable. Think about it. The last time you were at a restaurant, was it a good experience or was it bad? Because I guarantee you 100% it was the server's fault. It was either their fault for it being good or bad. Even if the food sucked, or the food came out cold, or the food came out wrong, it was the server's fault. Why didn't they fix it before it got to my table? Or why didn't they make it better? These are all situations that are based on that server. And that brings me to another reason why benefits are so important. Servers mentally have to handle this. If, let's just say, like, throughout a day, 2 or 3 plates come out wrong, and those 2 or 3 people are very upset about that, they are going to, I won't say, mentally abuse that server, but they are going to be very stern in their discomfort of that person. And I think that takes a toll, because servers who do this, especially 10, 12, 13 years, we have to carry that with us. I guarantee you there are days when, other servers besides myself look back at situations where we messed up and we're like, crap, I don't want that to happen again. I don't like getting yelled at. and how do I fix that? And that stays with us, you know. And I don't think that's positive reinforcement. I think that's legitimate fear or just I don't know, just not believing in themselves, you know, no faith in their ability to do their job correctly. And that's just years of just getting mentally, you know, bombarded with negativity. It's tough. It's really tough. And benefits should help improve those situations. So to bring this all back to full circle, I wanted to share my story of why I think benefits are so important for servers. And if you know me, you already know this story. If you don't know me, well, you're about to hear probably an incredible story, hopefully. But probably about 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with pericardial effusion. Basically, your heart has a heart sac around it. It's like this like gooey case that sits around your heart to protect it. Well, in very rare and older people cases, fluid will seep into that heart sac and then start to grow between the heart sac and your heart, and ultimately has nowhere to go, so it starts crushing your heart. That happened to me. And to give you context of what time frame it was, I was going to my last semester of college, and I had one job working at Carrabba's, and I had a car payment, I had rent, I had car insurance, I had bills, my cell phone bill, and I had a girlfriend at the time. But what I'm pointing out is my finances was quite large, and at the age of 26, I did not think that this was going to happen. So living paycheck to paycheck with no benefits, and then all of a sudden your heart not your heart, but my chest starts caving in on itself. I almost killed myself because I was too scared to go to the hospital. That's kind of something I never told anybody. I almost killed myself because I was too scared to go to the hospital because I was afraid I couldn't afford it. That is a true story. That is not something I'm making up. I legitimately knew that something was wrong with my chest, and I refused to go to the hospital because I knew I couldn't afford it. And I almost died. How crazy is that, you know? And I know a lot of people have worse stories than me. I know a lot of people, you know, have worse financial issues than I do. I know a lot of people are in tougher situations than I am. I totally understand that. But for me at the time, being 26, going into my last semester of college, and just not knowing what was going to happen the next day, thank God my girlfriend kind of forced me to go to the hospital. And when I went in, they told me that I had 24 hours to live or I'm going to die because my heart is just going to give up. So, you know, long story short, they fixed me up. I was in the hospital for 10 days. If you're a server, you know that 10 days is the death of you financially. Financially, 10 days is the end of you. You're done. Like, you're not coming back from that. 10 days of not being in work as a server, as your primary job, you're done, right? So after I got out of the hospital, the doctor literally told me I had to sit out for 30 days. 30 days. I was not allowed to work. I was not allowed to do anything. I had to sit in bed and wait. Again, to remind you, I have a car payment, rent, and a lot of other financial issues that I had to take care of at the time. Well, things caught up, and I lost my car. My car got towed. My rent, I was kicked out because my rent was overdue, and I ended up being homeless for just a little amount of time. I ended up reaching out to one of my professors, and thank you, Professor Scott. I know you're not watching, but Professor Scott, shout out to you and your lovely wife for allowing me to live with you for the duration of my semester, because if it wasn't for you guys, I would have had to leave college. I wouldn't have finished. So because of you guys, I finished college. Thank you. But that's what happened, right? And then when I got out of the hospital, the bill, I can't even describe to you how large it is. I mean, if I told you what the number was, your head would explode. And for someone being 26, you can't describe to you what that felt like. Now I'm working on that situation, but to give you context of everything that you're facing without health insurance, it's quite intimidating. It's very scary. And for some people, you're going to die because you're too scared to go to the hospital because you can't afford it. So that was my life story, and that was an experience that I wanted to share with you as a server. That was crazy, you know? And I know that there's more stories like this out there, and I know there's, you know, a lot of servers out there that, you know, maybe too scared to maybe get a checkup or something because they can't afford the $500 visit. And I guarantee you it's well worth taking the chance. You know, it's well worth putting yourself out there and going bankrupt to make sure that you live to see another day. At the end of the day, guys, I just want to say that benefits for servers and bartenders, I think, really needs to be looked at. And I really do think that we need to rethink the system and structure that it's being done with. I mean, if it takes creating a insurance company that only deals with servers and bartenders and adjusts it to that system, I mean, let's make it happen. I don't know what needs to be done, but I don't feel like anyone talks about it. No one talks about it. I mean, having over 2 million people as servers and bartenders that can't afford health insurance is a big deal. And I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm not a politician, okay? I am just a guy with a microphone and so happens to have a network, so he wants to use it. But thank you guys for listening. And this show we're going to cut a little bit short because, you know, Nick's not here, obviously, and then also we are going to be taking a hiatus. So for those of you who sat around and listened to me ramble and share that ridiculous story, thank you. But listen, at 8:30 tonight, we have the Springs Chat, and literally 1 hour, the Springs Chat comes on. Okay, they're awesome guys, Ryan and Austin. They have their own company, so I'm sure they got some cool stories to tell tonight. I think they're doing something. Deluxe Resorts. They're doing Deluxe Resorts. So stay tuned for that at 8:30. On Mondays, we have the Dungeon Seekers. Tuesdays, we have Theater Goers at 8 p.m. And then right after Theater Goers, the brand new hot show, the 60-Minute Suspension, which is awesome. Make sure you check them out. And then coming back on Wednesday, we have Anime Club at 8 p.m. But this next Wednesday is actually going to be a rerun. So, you know, it'll still be fun. And then we have tons of cool shows coming out soon. Please stay tuned for those. Guys, one last time for the Two Top Podcast, and I know I'm speaking for Nick as well. Thank you guys so much for watching the Two Top Podcast, for watching us grow, going through our hiccups, stuff like that. Nick does not want to cancel the show. He just wants to improve it, which, you know, I'm all for. I support him and his decision on that. So we'll see what happens with the Two Top Podcast. But in the meantime, we have tons of other content that you can be a part of, and I'm excited that you guys want to be a part of it. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you guys literally in 1 hour, the Springs Chat, 8:30. See you guys soon.